get that man today? No, because I'm gonna get him.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners from coast to coast and worldwide to a very special Wednesday edition of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. This is a live broadcast, as always. Today is Wednesday, September 5th, 2012. You know, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that this is 2012. I mean, what happened in 1977?
September of 2012.
Yeah. Folks, you're listening again to a live broadcast of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. It's heard live every weekday from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, soon to be 8 to 11 Eastern Time. That change will take place on Monday, October 1st of this year. Thanks to your generous support of our program, your word of mouth support, we've grown exponentially beyond any expectations that we had.
Yeah.
And we were just going, you know what?
Really?
Joe and I spent the entire day in the office today just crunching numbers and trying to make things fit, trying to decide what we're going to do with the studio in terms of improvements, software, hardware upgrades, trying to make the show sound better. And I know that this is a lot of housekeeping announcements right now, but please bear with us, because the end result is this. We want to give to you the best possible product that we can.
Yeah.
So you can walk away after 2 or 3 hours saying, you know what, I'm glad I spent that time with them.
Yeah.
It wasn't a waste of time.
And we've had, people who have donated to the show, supporting us, helping us pay our expenses to be on air, and also to raise enough money to have the ability tomorrow, hopefully, to go get a computer just for the studio, and
a dedicated show computer, which is we have
the monitors. We just need the hardware, and with your generous contributions and the blessings from the Lord that He's given us, we are able to do that. Hopefully, it will bring another level of quality audio.
And actually, we're not talking about a lot of money. It's the box that we're looking at is just a few $100s, but what it's going to do is it's going to increase the refresh rate, the speed at which this broadcast goes.
Yes, and it's for media, it's for video and audio.
Right.
It's based around that. The computer is the video and audio. To make it more simple.
That's right. Now, a couple of things. I spoke to Steve Quayle today. Tomorrow's show. Folks, if you haven't visited HomelandSecurityUS.com, go ahead and check our site out, because I've got to tell you, tomorrow it's going to be a rather interesting program.
Yeah, I put it out on Facebook, our Team K9 Facebook page.
Yep.
Also, this announcement, we have 499 likes on our Team K9 Facebook page.
Come on,
will somebody go over there and hit that button to get to 500?
Come on, please. But then again, I just feel like sometimes that we have an identity problem, because we've got the Northeast Intelligence Network. I was talking to my wife about this. Northeast Intelligence Network. You got HomelandSecurityUS.com, which is actually the URL. And then we got Team K9, we got this and that.
Yeah, we have Northeast Intelligence Network, Team K9, the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Right. It's like, who are we?
Also, we have on our main page at the Northeast Intelligence Network, we have 3,304 people that like our page on Facebook, but we don't know where that goes to. We have no page with that many likes or anywhere on Facebook that says that exists. So.
Well, no, I know where it goes to, because all you have to do is ask me. I do know where it goes to, but just let's not get into that.
I'll post this article in the chat room for folks, and the title is PTSD, Its Causes, Cures, and How to Handle What's Coming. Are you prepared for what's coming?
Oh, man. And folks, do you realize that the doctor that's on tomorrow, he's a PhD.
This guy,
Dr. Hagstrom,
is like the #1 post-traumatic stress disorder doctor.
Well, I didn't realize this until I got into this. He was facing, and by the way, folks, I'm going to fix the article that was posted earlier by someone who didn't quite get it. Anyway, he was facing attempted murder charges. Okay, Dr. Hagstrom was, and a movie that aired on CBS. John Ritter played him in a movie that aired on CBS. That's the guy. So if you go to now we've got Life Skills International. That's his website. If you go to HomelandSecurityUS.com and scroll down a ways to, I'll fix the front page, but it's as slightly askew at the moment. But scroll down there and click on Life Skills International. You can watch the trailer watch the clip of the video. That's the guy that's going to be on our show tomorrow. John Ritter played that guy.
Yeah. And I was shocked when I talked to Steve. Was it last night?
It was today earlier, I think.
Last night. He gave me the info real quick, and he told me this guy's background and explained to me, why we were doing this, and I was blown away. I told him, this is awesome, Steve. Thanks so much for getting this guy to come on. It will be such a powerful show.
But wait, let me just set this up because this is important. Steve and I were talking about this. A lot of shows have, we talk about, hey, look what's coming, man. It's coming. When we say, oh, it's coming. And I happen to be talking to Dr. Joyce Riley today from Power Hour with Dr. Joyce Riley. Okay. And I'm going to be on her show. I have it somewhere. I believe it's Monday. I'm going to be on our show Monday. I was thinking there at 10 o'clock, I believe it is, in the morning Eastern time. Very nice woman, and
it should be an excellent show. She is very
right.
She is good name recognition. Very
plus she's very good with about the troops. But this was. What I was getting at, I guess, was the reason we have this up here is, or the reason we're having this gentleman on tomorrow from 9 to 12. It's a different time, slightly different time. Is look, we are all under stress, and I'm going to tell you. Do you know stress obviously is like the leading cause of illness? But I got to tell you something. Okay, if you're living in America today or anywhere in the world today, you're under stress. Whether it's family, whether it's money. Whether it's whatever, the world events, but we talk about it, and sure, you can go to the Bible and you can find solace in the Bible. You can seek guidance in the Bible, but here's the issue with this: there are practical things you can do to extend your life and extend the quality of your life. And if you happen to be suffering from PTSD, or if you're angry at your spouse, like, I'm like the angry man that Kansas sang. I think it was Kansas. You're too young. Angry young man. That's me a lot of times. And my wife says, boy, if people could really see, your level of anger sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, that's pretty sad and pretty scary because, and Steve and I were talking about it. He says, I get angry too.
I got to say, you have been transforming yourself in a positive way over the last 6 months. Some of the, we used to go on investigations and out of town, traveling away from home for days and days, and we get frustrated, and we'd have arguments, and arguments with ourselves, with our bags, or our equipment, and the way you used to handle
across the room,
the way you used to handle situations you had no control over, versus the way you handle them now is much better.
I remember being in Naples, Florida, one time and dragging the hotel desk clerk over the desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just another example. We were on our way back from Florida, and my father left his book of all his important contacts of very important people, and he left it at this hotel. And he got so freaked out about it. He's sitting there screaming and swearing, and going on for a half hour. Just yelling, and I'm like, Dad, we're all the way close to home, nowhere near Florida anymore. You can't change this, you can't get so worked up over something you cannot change.
That's right.
And that's in AA. They have the saying, the prayer, the Serenity Prayer.
That's right.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's right.
And that is, no AA or not, that is a prayer that needs to be practiced by everyone.
It doesn't matter, but certainly that's so. Folks, be sure. Look, this is not a commercial for tomorrow night, but just to tell you who that guy is and why it's so important to have him on now because of the
attacks on the veterans and the mental disorders.
That's it.
And not only the veterans, it's attacked on anybody who has problems or is seeking psychiatrist help. Say you are feeling a certain way, you go in there and you want to talk to somebody, and before you get into 10 minutes of talking with them, they're already trying to write your prescription after prescription of antidepressants and sleeping medications, and you're like, I didn't come here to get prescribed medicines. I came here to get solutions to the problem, not masks
of the
problem, right? And it seems like those doctors are far and few between that will tell you, change your diet, change your life habits first. See if those things work before we have to take the next step and possibly use medication. That should always be the last resort.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting away from some of the topics of tonight's show, we had a powerful earthquake in Costa Rica, 7.6 magnitude, that rocked Costa Rica, killing at least 2 people. This last article from Reuters states, I'm not sure if any more deaths have been reported, but there were tsunami warnings issued, and they were later taken away. But there were also landslides that closed roads, and this was the most serious earthquake to hit Costa Rica since a 6.1 magnitude hit in January of 2009, which killed at least 40 people.
Yes.
We are seeing these huge earthquakes. I shouldn't say huge, but we are seeing earthquakes on a much larger scale. We saw the swarm of earthquakes in California, and after that, and in between that, a couple big earthquakes along the, I forget the San Andreas fault line, but the north, right. I forget the name of the fault that stretches from Alaska down through South America.
A bad fault line.
Yeah, it's a very active fault line. But it says this powerful earthquake sparked landslides, knocked down buildings, and briefly triggered tsunami warnings. Residents, their phones went down, electricity, and water flowed through out of the swimming pools from the severe shaking. Now, I've been at a few in-ground pools. I cannot imagine standing there and the earth shaking so bad that the water is just, gushing out of these pools. And I've never personally experienced an earthquake higher than a 2 or 3.0. So,
yeah. But so imagine that, wow.
Yeah. Now we have Leslie, a hurricane in the Bermuda right now, which just strengthened into a hurricane, the 6th hurricane of the Atlantic season. Leslie is moving slowly towards the Bermuda. Bermuda needs to be on high alert for direct hit. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, warned of a strong Category 2, borderline 3 hurricane is in effect for the weekend. Leslie's maximum sustained winds strengthened Wednesday and are now 75 miles an hour, passing the hurricane threshold of 74 miles an hour.
I've got to tell you, I believe that the earthquakes, the hurricanes, the storms, and people say, look, they happen, it's natural occurrence. Indeed it is.
Yeah.
But when you have clusterings of earthquakes, when you've got storms like this, when you've got weather patterns that don't make any sense, I think it's we're in this warning stage.
You look at Katrina. You look at the devastation that caused New Orleans. Okay,
yeah.
And that happened right around the same time with the Bush in Israel taking people from the West Bank out of their own homes and never relocating them,
right,
but removing them from their homes, and how that affected America pretty much inch by inch, measure for measure. And it started along with the FEMA and the gun confiscations that opened a lot of people's eyes to what the government really will do, cutting off local communication lines for police and fire and EMS to establish their own communication lines, pretty much taking over the town. That was a terrible situation, and thank goodness we have not seen a hurricane that bad since.
Right.
And I hope it stays that way. Also in health news, West Nile virus cases, deaths are still on the rise. We reported on this in the last couple of weeks. Cases of the West Nile viruses are up now over 25% in the past week and expected to rise further over the next several weeks, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention said Wednesday.
Does anyone now? Do you think, folks? What do you think about this West Nile virus? Given the fact that we've endured the biggest drought, in decades.
Yeah, that's a good point. But think about the warm summer we had,
yes,
which I saw many reports, whether true or untrue, that added to the amount of insects we saw this summer. Meaning there were more insects this summer. There were more.
Okay.
But I don't know, with the drought, if that would have killed some insects off, or I'm not too scientific with those cycles, so I'm not sure.
Look, I don't know either. Okay, but I wonder about this. I wonder if, you've got to kind of wonder in a way. Is there something else going on here? I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, and I have not asked any scientists. But
right. Also, speaking of weather, this is a category I put together: weather, health, and natural disasters.
Right.
I don't know why I added that all together like that, but we are looking at the Democratic National Convention. But the most important thing we want to talk about there is the DNC's rollout of their new Messiah, or the Messiah, Obama, and also the Democratic platform that they are pressing. And this is the most extreme platform I have ever seen for, any party. Even the Communist Party USA platform wouldn't seem as extreme as this Democratic platform. It is completely sickening and ridiculous. Homosexuals have a record presence at this Democratic convention. You have people who are promoting abortions, and that the taxpayers pay for them. And they have the Muslims. 20,000 Muslims said that they were coming to pray and celebrate with these Democrats at the convention. And now we see that they are switching venues because of a possible weather threat, which makes this even weirder. What we have is the Democratic National Convention is being moved from a stadium outdoors into an inside convention hall, or an inside hall where you can fit roughly 50,000 less people. Now, some are saying that they are doing this because they do not have enough people to fill the 74,000 seated stadium outdoors. I'm not completely sold on that, because this is the DNC. They're busting in people from all over the world, and they say that there's going to be 64,000 people who are upset that they won't get there to be coming to this DNC. But this is the oddities from this. This is a small chance. There's a small chance of rain. They were forecasted 40% chance of rain, with even a little bit less, down to 30% chance of rain. And an interesting tweet from a man named Brad Panovich, WCNC, makes a good point. It's a simple question. If you had a Panthers game, Carolina Panthers, that's the stadium they play at, concert or soccer match with a 20% chance of storms, would you cancel 24 hours prior? And that is a good question, making us wonder, why would they do this?
Why?
I don't know.
Well,
what they are doing...
Look, they're downsizing. Number one, they're downsizing the venue.
Right.
Purposely. But it does... Okay, is that specifically what you're asking?
Well, see, this is the problem I have. The campaign aides and Obama workers around him, has said that he would appear come rain or shine.
Right.
Organizers, they blamed the bad weather, but some questions whether he could fill the huge outdoor stadium are being asked.
Well, okay. So, and now this is an important topic, not just for the change of venue.
Because we have a president who is running as for his second term, a president who was probably one of the most highly I mean, he was expected to do great things because he promised great things in his.
No, it's because he was black.
No, it's not because of anything, any race, any. It's because he promised to cut the deficit in half. He promised to get jobs and the economy back on track. He promised to stop the wars, stop the torture, stop the injustice and the civil liberties.
Right.
But yet they're pardoning the people who were torturing Afghan prisoners. They're drone striking and murdering civilians all across the world. They're launching illegal proxy wars in countries across the world. And now they're running on this platform having a host of DNC speakers who are all pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, and we're going to get into that later. Anti-Israel is the biggest one, and we have to get into this because I even emailed Pastor Begley today.
Right.
I wanted to get his take on this Obama Messiah.
Yeah, that creeped me out, ladies and gentlemen. Have you seen I mean, we talk about the Olympics having this odd, satanic, if you will, this
satanic
rituals, yeah. Right? Now you look at the DNC; they've created this what appears to be a stained glass window that you would see in a church, perhaps, or even a cathedral, and they're making this as a backdrop for Obama. And there's artwork that is available in Charlotte that's which is the venue of the DNC, that paints or that refers to Obama as the Messiah, as the Savior, as the person who, and I'm going to tell you something, it's a little bit disconcerting when you see that. The
DNC will showcase Obama as their Messiah on stained glass platform, selling Obama as the Messiah. For our false apostles, deceitful workers transforming themselves into apostles of Christ, and no marveled. No one marveled. For Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing of his ministers also to be transformed as ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. That's 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 13 through 15.
Right.
And it goes on to say, street vendors across downtown Charlotte are selling posters and artwork depicting President Obama as Jesus Christ, and the Democratic National Convention is expected to feature a stained glass window backdrop during their meeting. Now, why is this so important? Besides the fact that they're trying to sell the president as the Messiah. Well, one, they disallowed and took God out of their platform initially.
Right.
Now we have a video queued up. I think, Troy, whenever you have it ready, you can play it when I'm done talking. If you got it ready, they had a vote today just before we went on air.
That's right.
Where they had somebody come up to the platform and give a voice vote, meaning you say yay or nay. Would you like God to be put back into the party platform, or no, nay? Would you like this to be kept the way it was? And I got to say, you guys got to listen to the crowd when they vote on this, and then how this guy rules on how they voted. And then afterwards, the excuse is, well, Obama came out and said he wanted to add God into. I mean, he really came out, or reporters came out on his behalf and said, he needs. He asked for this. He wants this in the platform. The only thing is he wanted to get the constituents' viewpoint on it, but he wanted to make sure that it was in there. So whenever you're ready, Troy,
he takes credit for that.
Go ahead and play the video of this vote of whether they should have God as part of their platform for the Democrats.
And if you're video challenged, just listen to it because you'll get the same effect. Go ahead. And we're working on that.
Would like to make your motion? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This summer I was proud to serve this party as the Platform Drafting Committee Chair. As the Chair, I come before you today to discuss two important matters related to our party's national platform. As an ordained United Methodist minister, I am here to attest and affirm that our faith and belief in God is central to the American story and informs the values we've expressed in our party's platform. In addition, President Obama recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and our party's platform should as well. Mr. Chairman, I have submitted my amendment in writing, and I believe it is being projected on the screen for the delegates to see. I move adoption of the amendment as submitted and shown to the delegates.
A motion has been made. Is there a second? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the matter requires a two-thirds vote in the affirmative. All those delegates in favor say aye. Aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the... Let me do that again. All of those delegates in favor say aye. Aye. All those delegates opposed say no. I guess...
Not an overwhelming majority either way.
And then you've got to let them do what they're going to do.
I'll do that one more time.
This will work.
All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, two-thirds have voted in the affirmative. The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And for the people in the chat room who say it sounds 50-50, you guys are exactly right. That's the way I heard it. I could not tell one way or another for yes or no, getting more support than the other, but this man says two-thirds of those in that room.
He's the mayor of Los Angeles, so I could never pronounce his last name.
And I wonder if that had anything to do with Obama wanting it to be put in, you know? Obama got so much bad press and got so many people turned off of his, campaign because he doesn't want to use God, he doesn't want to rely on God, or even, include God in his convention, or the language that his party platform runs on when concerned with the issues. And I guess really the right decision would be to keep God out of his party platform. When you look at what the party platform is all about, higher taxes, abortions, gay marriage, Obamacare, amnesty, campaign finance, and Israel, and helping Palestine be created, you should keep God out of that, because you should not put his name next to things that are complete evil and godlessness.
Well, let's be clear on one thing. All the presidents from forever basically said, we recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. That's something very easy for a president to say.
Well,
the whole
State
city
Department.
of Jerusalem. Well, fine, but here's, if we had the courage, the fortitude, and the wisdom, we would move our embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv, and that's the key fact here. Anyone can say, I'm for Jerusalem, or I'm for Israel. And of course, we should recognize Jerusalem as a capital, but those are empty words.
Let me tell you something.
Unless you move your embassy to Jerusalem.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I talked to a friend and a listener of the show today who told me, shared views with their family that they actually got into fights about, and this person was talking with their mother and asking them, well, why, Obama is not supporting Israel? And you're a Christian, you believe in the Bible. You believe that Israel is a nation that was created by God, and as it says in Genesis, those who bless Israel will be blessed, those who curse Israel will be cursed. Is it okay? Are you okay with Obama moving away from Israel? And the response was, to the best of my recollection, yes, they were okay. We don't need to be that close of an ally with Israel. Obama's, doing the right thing pretty much along those lines.
Who are you talking to?
Well, I won't disclose that.
All right.
It's very heartbreaking to see people who call themselves Christians, and not only that, I'll add this, that because the reason they said that was okay was because they said they're not under Old Testament laws. We're under the laws of the New Testament. But if you looked at it like that, that would mean the Ten Commandments would not.
Let's not get into dogma here or anything aside from the fact that we are commanded by the Old Testament to respect or to cast our blessings on the people of Israel, and we can argue all day long about is the current Israel is not the real Israel, or it's not. No, let's not go there. Let's just agree right now, because this is not what this show is about. But the fact is, the Democratic National Convention brought this up. If we had really had any desire to back Israel, we'd move our embassy to Jerusalem. We'd say, look, we're going to back you in the event of something, with respect to the Iranian situation. Don't forget 1979. Folks, if you didn't live through 1979 as an adult, if you don't remember what happened to 52 Americans for 444 days, and the fact that the current president was the architect of that, one of the architects of that whole fiasco, and Carter's response, and don't forget about Bonnie Sauter, who he's going to be a moderate. Bonnie Sauter is going to be a moderate. He's going to change everything. Well, what happened to Bonnie Sauter? He's in France. He got exiled to France. Folks, if you didn't live through that 1979 deal, in 1980 extended to where America was dragged through the mud, look, let's just leave it alone anyway. But
yeah. What else I was going to get into here was the part.
And I understand about Operation Ajax. I understand about that. I'm just referencing Bob. I understand Operation. Look, I do understand that. I understand what happened in 1953. I do know my history. I do know America's involvement in foreign policy. That's not, again, right. That's a discussion for a different day. All I'm saying right now, okay, about Jerusalem being the capital. That's all. And backing it.
There's two different ways that we need to look at Israel, in my opinion. One, a biblical way, where Israel is the nation of the Lord, which He established on this earth. And two is the governments of Israel and the world are also mentioned in the Bible. Right. As the kings and rulers who, do evil things. And there is a difference. Just because we support Israel as a nation doesn't mean we support the government of Israel or their actions. We support the citizens of Israel. We support Israel as a right that God is. We support the idea, or not the idea, the fact that God created Israel, okay,
right,
and made it His nation. Now, whether we agree with the policies of the government shouldn't matter. We should support the people of Israel and the right of the people to have the land, no matter what.
And yes, and let me just say this while you're talking about that, or in addition to what you're saying, when people refer to these armistice or the 67 borders, and look, they're not borders; they're armistice lines, and they're indefensible. It would be indefensible. So we're not. Right. We're not going to go there, but
right.
But because we do have some really important news, as we talked about last night, referencing from last night to tonight, different things that we need to talk about.
Yeah, while we're on this Israel topic, I want to get into this. Palestinian Abbas saying he's backing for new UN upgrade push. The Palestinians will seek to upgrade their status at the United Nations this month, bolstered by the support of the Arab countries, Islamic states, and the 120-member non-allied movement, the Palestinian president said on Wednesday. Now, what these people are doing, they are trying to say that Israel is Palestine, or should be given to Palestine, or should be separated between Israel and Palestine, that they have a right to the land, when historically, obviously, they do not have a right to the land at all. And I don't think anybody who has occupied Jerusalem or Israel in the times that it has been taken over, anybody ever claimed the right to that land. They were following out the plans of God, I think. God had this set up to... it was prophesied about how it would fall. It was, twice, and it was prophesied about many times. But
Jerusalem is the only city in the Middle East right now where you can go to, and you can go to a church, a synagogue, and a mosque all in the same street. You can't do that in any other country in the Middle East. And we got a problem with
from Israel say that they get along there. The people, the Muslims, the Jews, the Christians, the secularists get along.
That's right.
And it's just everybody else around. But it says in the Bible, and I'm not sure who read it on our show, but that Israel will become a burden.
Jerusalem will become a burden stone
in the end times, and I'll find the verse. But
this is what we're seeing right now.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So this previous attempts by Palestine to improve their formal status globally and be recognized at the UN as an entity with voting rights has failed. These Palestinian foreign ministers had earlier said they would ask to be made a non-member observer of the UN General Assembly later this month. But basically what this boils down to is the Palestine people, or all the refugees or whoever they are from whatever country in the Middle East they're from, forming together that come against Israel to try to take part of their land.
This is a Psalm 83 war.
A backdoor tactic to get in good with the UN through political favors from people like Obama probably, and Valerie Jarrett, and other communists and Muslims.
Don't forget Valerie Jarrett's
in the White House. Yes. And a backdoor way to get the UN, to get in good with the UN, get recognized as a nation, as a government, and then they can go ahead and say, well, look, we're going to have a vote, and we're going to see if Israel belongs to Israel, or if it belongs to Palestine, or how much belongs to who. And that's what they're going to do, and that's what they're trying to do. And we are seeing the beginnings of the Gog and Magog war. We are seeing that with the Arab Spring, with the allegiances being drawn with Russia and China, and the war between Iran and Israel that's possible, and America. On either side, who knows where we are with that?
You've got your Psalm, and this is how I believe it's going to be. You've got your Psalm 83 war. You've got your Gog and Magog, and then of course Armageddon to round things out. But and I didn't really want to go down this road this heavily, but it's important, I guess, now, because
it is important.
Now combine that with what you just said with the. If you go on the for example, Fox News, you'll find it on various websites where they've got these images like we talked about earlier with respect to Obama at the DNC.
Yeah,
the pictures, prophecy fulfilled. Like you mentioned this earlier, but I didn't see that photograph, this artwork.
And we're not going to put up or really get into what we have written, because we got two good articles coming out, one on this Obama Messiah, and one on another look at the purchase of DHS bullets and preparedness equipment. So hopefully those will be out in the morning.
But I'm just very upset at this artwork that supposedly portrays Obama as Jesus. Now, if you can look at it perhaps another way, when it says prophecy fulfilled, and although it does, it's a picture of Obama in a prayerful position. That is, the Bible is open up, and you can see Barack in the Bible. The thing when I see prophecy fulfilled, I'm not thinking that he is the Savior. So I guess you can look at it different ways, but I just wanted to bring that up since we're talking about Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, give us a call if you want to jump in on the
Yes.
conversation. The number is 661-244-9839. That's 661-244-9839. We will be taking your phone calls on any issues we have covered or you would like to cover.
We want to know
or
what's on your
anything
mind.
else you'd like to talk about. And thank you. We have reached 504 likes on our Team K9 Facebook page, and we really appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know, we also have a Hagmann and Hagmann Report Facebook page. If you're interested,
I didn't even know that for a while.
And we got a couple hundred followers over there too. So we put all our show updates, information, things like that there.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
I take care of the website. You take care of the other. But
yeah,
thank you for doing that. Now, okay, the news that we have to get into, some of the most important information. You know, yesterday we had a program, and we looked at the news dump for the weekend. A lot of stuff went under the radar.
Yeah, and I got to say this. It's to the point where you and me probably have at least 3 reports each that we need to go through. Should have already went through and had ready for the show to explain to the listeners exactly what they state, but they're so complex and difficult, and we can only work on so much at a time. And I got to say, putting together an article and giving it to you, and then you taking it and putting it together even better, working together like that, I like that.
I do too.
But we need to both be hammering away articles like crazy so we can get to all this stuff.
Well, when we say articles, we're talking about really what we're talking about is unique investigative works, because look, I think what it does, and somebody mentioned this in the interactive chat, the fact that it all kind of boils down to central banks. It all boils down to money, the power of bankers, the targets by the central banks.
And I want to point you guys in this direction of a report we came across that is very important, and is something that I mentioned at least a month ago, about central banks are the real target for West imperial wars.
Yeah. I mean, this is a compilation of information we put together. Now, some of this is.
I mean, yeah, we talked about what we've put together, and you'll see as I read this report here, exactly what we stated about 3 weeks to a month ago about the central banks and why we've been going to wars in the Middle East. And I'm just going to give you a quick few points of this. It asks why the United States would have all these, I guess you'd call them, offensive wars and government overthrows for really no reason. And it says, in the years since the first post-9/11 invasion, real reasons have been regarded as real reasons have been provided with democracy by the United States. These reasons include vast oil reserves, pipelines, opium fields, strategic military positioning, no-bid contracts for the defense industry, military-industrial complex, and mineral deposits.
Well, see,
all of these suggestions...
Now, wait a second, though, because people say, okay, I mean, my big thing was, why did we go to war in Afghanistan? Why Iraq? Why did we get involved in Egypt? Why did we get involved in Libya? Why? Because
on top of the minerals, the resources, and the defense contracts and nation building we get to do there,
where's the gas from Iraq that we were supposed to get?
Well, what they're doing is using that and putting it in reserves and sitting here and charging us, higher prices, saying that there's, still a shortage, or letting the speculators, or however they are keeping the gas prices up, even though supply might be down, or demand might be down, and production might be up. We know because of Labor Day, they even said, well, gas prices are going to go up, 20, 30 cents for Labor Day.
And they went up here 15 cents.
Yeah, even though the price of the barrel of oil hardly changed at all. And you could see the price of oil drop 10, 20 bucks, and you'll see 10 cents at the pump, 20 cents at the pump. It's all manipulated.
Let's get back to the central bankers.
But it says all of these reasons, like I stated, the opium fields, oil, etc., are very valid and accurate reasons of why you'd go to war. But it says, however, there was only one reason for the military intervention that is rarely discussed, even in the alternative media in this context, the goal of the total domination by the private central banking system.
And there you have it.
And it goes into saying that they want to consolidate all of the financial systems, and the problem with that in the beginning of 2000, and PNAC, the Project for the New American Century, the Wolfowitz Doctrine, Donald Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, Bush, Paul Wolfowitz, and many other neocons, as they'd be labeled, wrote up PNAC, the Project for New American Century, which called for a new Pearl Harbor-style attack on the United States to bring about their New World Order Homeland Security police state.
No,
not in so many words.
Stop there, okay, because I really had a hard time with this. I argued with Joe about this document, this PNAC, this document itself, and I said, no, it didn't call for...
Yes, it did. No, I know.
It didn't call for a new Pearl Harbor.
Yes,
but in a roundabout way, it said that we would need an attack in this country or on our country. It would benefit the objectives of this cabal, our overall objectives. I mean...
No, let me correct you here.
Okay.
Just in case you weren't going to go there.
I'm not...
It really did call for a new Pearl Harbor.
No, they didn't say, look, we want... Okay, I guess what the definition of call is. It didn't say we want a new... Or we want to be attacked. It didn't say that.
No, it says that they need...
Correct.
Or want a new...
No.
They need a new Pearl Harbor.
Read from the document, not from somebody's
I know.
comment.
Well, I'm looking for the document right now. Here's a quote right here. Further, the process of transformation, even if it brings revolutionary change, is likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event like a new Pearl Harbor.
There you go. Okay. It doesn't say we want or need a new Pearl Harbor. What they're saying in context in this PNAC report is what a new Pearl Harbor or what an attack would do.
No.
But now, okay, so we look back at this document. Did that accomplish, did 9/11 accomplish what the goals of the PNAC document?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
It brought in the New World Order. Now we have Obama critics, more than one, saying the first one saying Obama needs an Oklahoma City type event like Clinton had to reconnect with his public.
Yes.
A second one saying, an Obama advisor, if I'm not mistaken, came out and said Obama will not get reelected unless he has a Oklahoma City or 9/11 style event to where he can bring the public together under such a devastating event.
Right.
And when you have people who are inside the White House administration, inside the government, saying these things, it is an open call to people in special ops, the CIA, and other people inside the administration who will pull these things off in order to bring about or try to unite the people of America together. Now imagine some scenario where America was devastatingly attacked tomorrow. We'll say, 3 cities were hit by suitcase nukes.
And that's a possibility.
Just a complete something that just popped into my mind. What's going to happen? The people are going to rally around Obama as he stands up there and reads from the teleprompter how he is going to make sure he brings justice to all those responsible, and they're going to enhance security, and et cetera, and maybe he gets some short-term results. The people will rally around him like he is the Messiah, okay?
That's true.
At least George Bush didn't have to read from a teleprompter when he was giving his speeches about how they were going to restore America, but sadly I think Obama would have to if this ever was the case. But anyway, the whole point of getting into that was because tomorrow I'm sorry, I keep thinking tomorrow's September 10th. Next week, September 10th and September 11th, we're going to do 2 shows on 9/11. Since we've been on the air weekly,
take this apart.
8 to 10 every night, we have not done a show on 9/11. So on the 10th and the 11th, of course on the 12th we have Steve Quayle and Henry Groover coming on. we are going to do 2 shows on 9/11, mostly giving you our investigative findings, pointing out anomalies, and giving you our findings, whether they are pro-government, pro-9/11, truth, whatever.
Whatever is the truth, whatever our findings are.
Yeah, and you're not going to be surprised to hear what I think, but we will provide the evidence. And also, part of those shows, we are going to be talking with a few first responders and family members who are going to come on and tell their stories, tell the stories of the struggles that they had to go through, not only during, but especially the first responders and rescue workers afterwards, and that the battles they are still fighting to try to get health care to cover their needs as they are dying as a result of helping people after the 9/11 attacks happened.
There was, and I have to say this, folks, we did discover what I would call like a slow kill type operation, and it pains me to say this, frankly, where some of the 9/11 workers were actually given, I think you had even told me this about vaccines or anthrax, anti-anthrax.
Vaccine, yes, and I have to get more information on that.
But that even beyond that, I've talked to first responders who have seen some things that they won't talk about to this day, and I'm not talking about bad things, people, death, and what I'm talking about are anomalies. And these are the people, by the way, that I'm trying to get to come on, if not for 5 or 10 minutes, just to talk about what they saw. And the 2 people I spoke to already won't even do that. They're afraid. So that makes me believe, in a way, that there is something else going on. I mean, obviously, I don't believe the official narrative of 9/11. But then again, I don't believe that. I don't believe that the cartoons of Dick Cheney in the basement with a remote control, guiding the planes into the building. Of course, I don't believe that. As always, the truth is somewhere, in between the 2 extremes.
And I'll tell you exactly what I believe right now, without getting into too much detail. The government was involved in 9/11. To what degree, I am fairly certain. But I will tell you this: at the very least, they let it happen.
Well. Mistakes. Not only were mistakes made, but I think things were covered up. What bothers me the most was how the 9/11 Commission operated afterwards, and the fact that there were things covered up from that. So.
Yeah, and we interviewed Richard Gage last year. We can bring a few couple-minute audio clips of some interesting things he had to say and points he made. We will have those available for the shows next week.
And why are we bringing this up now? Why is this important? Well, I'll tell you why.
I really thought tomorrow was September 10th, and that's the second time we did that.
No, but I think the reason that we need to not let this drop is because the perpetrators, look, this is 11 years ago, the perpetrators are still out there.
Right.
And what 9/11 was a defining moment for this country.
Oh, yeah, because look at the terrorists attacked us for our freedoms. Well, who's the one that has been taking all our freedoms away?
Of course,
the government. And has there been more terrorist attacks, on American citizens that were caused by people crashing planes or huge terrorist attacks, anything bigger than a minor shooting?
Right.
No, and the TSA's been in the airports. They haven't stopped one terrorist. As a matter of fact, the terrorists they're looking for now are Christians. They're not looking for Muslim extremists. They're looking for Christian, right-wing, lone wolf, patriot, Constitution-loving, Bible-grabbing Americans, and those are the new enemy. I have no problem. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing.
And I just got distracted a little bit here. Phone Jack had asked a question: did they sign something? Would they have to give back the millions the Gov gave to the surviving families? Just what was the story and all of that? There are multiple lawsuits, multiple stories, multiple issues. I'm not sure what exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah, and Henry Kissinger was first appointed to lead the 9/11 Commission, and he was the family.
How bad is that?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy who wrote Memorandum 200,
right,
stating they would use food, natural resources, and other means for population control by controlling the amount of food that would go out and depopulize the world through eugenics, vaccinations, wars, and famines. And they wanted him to do the 9/11 Commission. And I know we're getting off into the 9/11 realm here.
But okay. So next Monday and Tuesday, we should have a great
maybe even
show.
Friday, too. Friday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Don't
but we'll probably want to break
Wednesday.
down tomorrow's show with that Dr. Paul Hegstrom on post-traumatic stress disorder. We'll probably spend some time on Friday breaking down that interview. So,
and somebody in the chat room had mentioned about our United States aid to Egypt.
Yeah, I got that.
I look what this is, and this actually this kind of does tie in with. In a kind of on its periphery ties into 9/11 and the events that happened both before and after, but setting up for the Arab Spring. Look, we gave $2.3 billion. To back democracy. U.S. prepares to cut $1 billion from Egypt's debt. So basically, we gave them the billion there. And wrote off $1 billion, and gave them another 1.5 billion. So ultimately, 2.5 billion to support the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt.
And listen, in addition to these debt reliefs, the administration has thrown its support behind a $4.8 billion loan being negotiated between Egypt and the International Monetary Fund, or IMF.
Right.
Last week,
Christine Lagarde.
It dispatched the first of two delegations to work out details of the proposed debt assistance, as well as a $375 million financing and loan guarantee for American financiers who invest in Egypt, and a $60 million investment fund for Egyptian businesses. Now, you, me, the average hardworking citizen, business owner, minimum wage worker to whatever we do in our daily lives, could go have a successful business, know it's a tight economy, be a little short on capital, go to a bank for a mere $20,000 loan to cover their, employee expenses until their business picks up, and will be denied over and over and over again. We will be harassed for, a $50 charge to the IRS that turns into $6,000 after 2 years of not paying it. You will be SWAT teamed if you don't pay your student loans. But we're sitting here giving away, as we reported yesterday, $16 trillion in secret bailouts given to banks and financial institutions, both here in America and all across the world. And they're giving our money away like candy to all those organizations that have nothing to do with the betterment of foreign policy, and most importantly, the American people. If they spent all the money that they give away to all these terrorist, crazy groups that just waste the money and do it for political favors, and focused it on the people of America, we could really change this nation to something positive. And it is so disgusting and so sad and frustrating that we haven't. And that's why we have a record 46.7 million people on food stamps. That's why we have a record deficit like we've never had in history of America.
And don't forget too, and this is something, folks, that I would love to get your opinions on. But I believe, you talk about the various stimulus. By the way, I mean the $788 billion stimulus package that this administration said, well, we created 300,000 jobs, I believe, which is not true during the 3.5 year reign so far.
Yeah,
that comes out to about well over $250,000 per job. So can you imagine taking $787,000 in stimulus money?
Yeah,
So anyway,
it's ridiculous.
But what I want to mention was the bailout, or not the bailout, but the financial crisis in 2008. And I would like to get your opinion on this, folks. I believe that it was a manufactured crisis,
right,
timed specifically timed. Now, I'm not sure because Bush could not run again, but certainly did this affect McCain? Well, I don't know, but behind it was a planned time.
I think it had more to do with the urgency for the financial institutions to back up their books or capital. More so than the timing of elections or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, in all investigations, we have to follow the money, and I think we need to follow the money. I really do, and that's one thing we're going to do with 9/11 investigations: follow the money. Let's go ahead and go for that,
or break.
Well, let's take. You know what? We're up against the top of the hour break, folks. We are trying to structure this because of terrestrial stations carrying us. Folks, you're listening to the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. Coming back, we will take your phone calls
immediately, right after the break.
Right, and we do appreciate your patience. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everyone for your patience on the phone, and we're going to be back in about 3.5 minutes. Don't go away.
Survival of the fittest. In any and all situations, survival is your number one priority. That requires being tough and thinking smart. And the folks at Freeze Dry Guy are going to help you do just that. They have the long-range patrol ration entrees, what they call the Brick Pack. When you're in survival mode, it is absolutely the best item for your survival pack or bug-out bag. You can go farther, faster, and carry more food with the LRP cold weather ration entrees. Not only do these long-lasting, durable entrees help sustain you or your family through the harshest environment or situation, they are by far the most delicious of their kind. No contest. With a variety of tasty entrees, you can't beat the LRP Brick Packs. Let Freeze Dry Guy help you in your survival situations. Go to freezedryguy.com. That's freezedryguy.com. Or call 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-FOOD.
Hi, folks. Doug Hagmann here. You might know me as the co-host from the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, or as a frequent guest on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. If you're like me, you're tired and confused over today's headlines. You just don't know where to turn for accurate, concise information about really what's going on, what's truly going on in today's society. If you don't know where to turn for accurate, well-researched, and properly vetted news, I've got a suggestion. In fact, it's a requirement. Bookmark Canada Free Press. That's CanadaFreePress.com on the Internet. It's just not for Canada. It's for news across the world. Judy McLeod, founding editor, has put together a vast array of talented writers like Kelly O'Connell, Daniel Greenfield, Dr. Eilida Johnson-Powell, a lot of guest columnists, very talented writers. Folks, that's Canada Free Press at CanadaFreePress.com. Now mobile-friendly. Follow on Facebook, because without America, there is no free world.
If you're stumped, you don't know what kind of gift to give to a friend or a loved one, I'm telling you, you must go to 4physics.com. That's the numeral 4, PHYSICS.com. This is your one-stop shopping palace. That's the only way I can put it. I could spend easily an hour on this website. Innovative, fun, educational. There are games, books, weather instruments, unique time-telling devices, jewelry, optical devices, laboratory equipment. Let me give you an example. We all know we can tell time with a sundial. You've seen those advertised. Did you know that you could tell time by the stars? At 4physics.com, you can buy a horologium nocturnum. This was a navigational device used in the 15th century by navigators at night to tell time by the stars. It's beautifully crafted in the shape of a pendant made of bronze and pewter or gold and silver. Absolutely a stunning gift. I would be proud to give it to anyone. You must go to 4physics.com. Even if you're not stumped, that's 4physics. That's the numeral 4, PHYSICS.com. It's your one-stop shopping palace. Any problems that you have, I don't know what to get Grandpa, I don't know what to get my loved one, that's unique. You will find it at 4physics.com. Please take my word for it. Go to the website, but give yourself a lot of time because you're not going to want to leave. 4physics.com.
You better wake up fast and listen to this, America. The Obama campaign has launched attack squads disguised as truth teams dedicated to intimidating and silencing all political dissent carried over the internet that criticizes the Marxist Obama. Truth Squad specifically focused on covering up Obama's endless trail of lies, corruption, and subversion, and using the Gestapo power of our own government to police and censor the internet and shut down websites that dare to carry the real truth about Obama's Marxist coup. Remember the names of these Gestapo-style agencies at work right there in your neighborhood. KeepingHisWord.com, KeepingGOPHonest.com, and AttackWatch.com. KGB, SS, and Gestapo-style police-state gangster organizations at work to silence the important voices of patriot dissent, some of which have already been shut down by Obama's orders. Adolf Hitler would have been proud. We're the 21st century Tea Party patriots.
Look, I'm at the start of my administration. One nice thing about the situation I find myself in is that I will be held accountable. I've got 4 years.
You're going to know quickly how people feel about what's happening.
That's exactly right. And a year from now, I think people are going to see that we're starting to make some progress, but there's still going to be some pain out there. If I don't have this done in 3 years, then there's going to be a one-term proposition.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to hour number 2 of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. I'm Doug Hagmann. With me is my co-host, Joe Hagmann. We're withholding video from you just for a moment here while we get some things straightened around.
And we'll put it back up right now.
Yeah, as soon as I find it, though, it's these buttons. And folks, I want to tell you something. If you listen carefully to that kind of that mungy, twisted sound during the break, the recorded commercials, the equipment that we're looking to obtain is hopefully will take care of that, because our resources are strained right now to the max.
And you can ask Cuban, as we ran a speed test on our computer, we have a download and upload speed, or at least the upload speed for broadcasting that he tried to get that. Well, he was told that his was the highest, and I think ours is double his, and he wanted to know how to find out. I mean, so we're not running with
we don't have chipmunks or little hamsters over here. We're going to get your calls in a second. Judy McLeod from Canada Free Press, God bless her. Actually, it was an email from Kiko. Thanks, Kiko, that sent this to me. It's called The Birds of Plum Island. This is published before its news on September 2nd, Sunday. Folks, did you see this? I always wondered. I thought, talk about conspiracy theories and, but what's the government doing at Plum Island? And I know there's books on this and there are people that talk about this. But Kiko's got the answer, I'll tell you that. So does Judy and Brian. God bless you folks, Judy and Brian. Thank you. Good friends to the north. You'll be hearing from me tomorrow morning. I promise you that. But anyway.
We're going to go to phone calls.
Just a second. Wait. I got to tell. I didn't finish my story about
I'm sorry.
You weren't listening, were you?
I'm sorry.
Just like you were when you were 6. Look, okay, Plum Island, and this again was on before its news. It's important for one reason and one reason only. What in the world are they doing on Plum Island, or were they doing on Plum Island? It's if you don't know what Plum Island is, it's a small little piece of land off of the northeast coast of Long Island. You can see it from Long Island if you go out far enough. And when they say Long Island, by the way, that's a long island if you've driven it. Anyway, it was allocated to the U.S. State Department of Agriculture back in 1954 for the establishment of a research center to study, get this, foot and mouth disease in cattle. If they left out cattle, I certainly would study foot and mouth disease for me. Anyway, in 1994, dead bird specimens were found outside, open to the air, and in the facility. In 1995, the Department of Agriculture was fined well over $100,000 for storing hazardous chemicals at this place. Okay, unsecured, left out in the open. Can you believe that? Of course you can. It's the government, right? Well, in 2000, an application was made to upgrade the biosafety part of this facility. Well, it's a biosafety level 4 center studying human as well as animal diseases. Well, here's the deal. The annual budget for Plum Island is more than $16 million. And again, they haven't changed their course. This is supposedly for the study of foot and mouth disease in cattle. But in late 2002, they decided to transfer the facility from the Department of Agriculture to the Department of Homeland Security. Oh, look at that now. Plum Island has its own fire department. They've got their own water treatment plant. It's autonomous, basically. I don't think they've got a mayor yet, but okay. Anyway, here's the kicker, and this is what I think this is what Kiko was talking about. Michael C. Carroll, Ph.D., he wrote a book. He was talking about the infectious disease outbreaks that originated on this island. Duck plague back in 1967. Lyme disease in 1975. You want to know where Lyme disease comes from? Do you have a relative that's sick with Lyme disease? Huh. I'll tell you what. Let's look at Plum Island. Lyme is actually an area in Connecticut, not too far from Plum Island. Anyway, there have all these allegations of wrongdoing. They've been denied by our government. Of course not. They wouldn't do anything. Birds, or Burge, depending on where you're from in the country, just like the ones being encouraged to nest on Plum Island, are known vectors of various diseases, such as...
Is that like the mutant butterflies in Fukushima?
Well, this is a little bit worse because we're talking about some biochemical, intentional... apples and oranges, but still both fruit is rotten. You've got avian flu. You've got avian tuberculosis. I didn't even know birds can catch tuberculosis. And you've got like this whole litany of diseases on this. But
when they're laboratory designer engineered these viruses, they're
exotic.
Right. I mean, what they can do is take an ordinary virus like the H1N1 and turn it into the H3N5 where there's no cure, and they can spread it, the quickest way possible. I mean, they mutate these diseases on purpose. You can guarantee that most of these diseases that people suffer from that have not been around for a long time, that are rampant now, especially things like autism, Alzheimer's,
yes,
those learning disabilities, and other.
And that makes me angry.
Yeah.
If you have a parent, a loved one with Alzheimer's, and you can trace it to a man-made product, you should be damn angry. And if you're not angry, and you should be looking for the reason why. And that's why I'm not big on like the Cancer Society, these big agencies that all they do is churn money and put money in the pocket of administrators. Not that some don't do some good. I'm not picking on. I just use that as one example. But anyway, let me get back to this. And can you believe this? Plum Island. They've actually got the bubonic plague there, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, what I think what Judy and Kiko and Brian were talking about is this. This facility, which is run by DHS, they've flouted the rules so blatantly.
And before you continue, have you seen the Montauk Monsters?
Yes.
Okay.
What are those?
And there's also been a humanoid found on the beach.
It looks like you when you were a baby. That one.
There's been a man with really long fingers found there one time too. There's no pictures of that.
That's your crazy uncle. Okay, but anyway, no,
seriously. There's genetically mutated animals and people that wash up on the shore.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to make light of this only because it's so sickening. But here's what's the interesting part of this. The government looked at the possibility of selling the island as a means of helping reduce our national debt. As if, right? Okay. The value of the island was estimated to be anywhere around $80 million to $150 million. Well, just to clean up the island before they could sell it. Just imagine having a house and you're going to sell it for $80 million, but the cleanup of the house would they can't even estimate how much it would cost to clean this island up. That's how bad things are there. So what's there? The diseases.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's an important story. People have to understand that we are engaged in this government. If people say, well, and all this conspiracy nonsense. Well, look, well beyond the cattle foot and mouth disease that this was intended. And I want to thank Judy for sending me that. And Kiko, thanks a lot. But go ahead. Let's get.
I
have
posted,
to get the phone calls as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to read the title of this article. I posted the article in the chat room. Fed seek prison time for Obama Hope artist.
Yeah, what's that all about?
There was the man who they say federal prosecutors want Shepard Ferrari, the artist who created the Barack Obama Hope poster, to serve time in prison following his misdemeanor conviction for destroying and fabricating documents in connection with a civil lawsuit over the iconic campaign image. Anyways, if you guys read the article, you'll get more there. I don't want to keep these callers on hold.
No, but that's an interesting. That's called payback.
Yes, area code. We'll start with area code 770. You are on the air with the Hagmann and Hagmann report. Area code 770. Hello.
Go ahead. You've got the floor. You've got the floor.
Oh, fantastic. Hi, my name's RW. I'm calling from London in the UK. It's a bit late here, but I thought I'd stay up and give you guys a call because I'm on holiday. So I've got an opportunity to. I just want to say, your ministry's fantastic. You're doing an absolutely, brilliant job. Obviously, a lot of the content and the topics focused on the US and what's going on there, but it still is an eye opener for I think the whole of the world really, and really I was praying recently, and I asked God, why aren't there the equivalent in the UK? Where's the UK kind of watchman? And what he said to me is really there isn't in the same way. I wondered why. And then I realized that even though you're a watchman in America, you're actually watchman for the church, and the church isn't in any one place, it's all over the world.
That's true.
And I think the work that you're doing, even though it's, I'm a firm believer that, I saw a poster recently for the new Judge Dredd film that's coming out over here. I don't know if it's out in the States yet. But the slogan is, judgment is coming.
Oh.
And I remember thinking, that's quite ironic, because I truly believe that it is. And it will hit America, I think, first, but it will have shockwaves across the world. And much of the church isn't, I don't think, aware of it. It isn't ready for it. And the reason why I say America first is because if you look at the Western world and look at the church, and look at evangelism, it really did. Obviously, the UK played a big part, but America played a massive role in spreading the gospel around the world. And to turn away from God as much as she has done is, it's not going to go unnoticed.
It's not going to go well, is it? Now,
if I'm honest, no.
Yeah, and the British are supposed to be the king of understatements. But caller, you're calling from London. How can we best?
Yes.
How can this program best serve the United Kingdom? Even if it's. What should we pay attention to in the United Kingdom or in Europe that would help you or help the people of the UK or Europe? What can we do during our show?
And not only that,
let me answer the question first. Is there anything that you off the top of your head?
I personally, I think that because there's just simply so much going on.
Right.
You guys are moving to doing this full time. You would need a massive team to be able to pick up on everything. I just don't think that's possible. But I think that if some of the content could be broadened to, I know you deal with a lot of the kind of political stuff in the States, and I don't think it's a matter of dealing with political stuff in the UK, but I think it is a matter of looking at, and you have done in the past, and you continue to do so, but some of the more, what's the word that I could use? Some of the more some of the more supernatural things that are beginning to occur around the world, and I use that term because I know it's very loaded when I say supernatural, because you think of a lot of fiction around these sorts of things, but really a lot of the things that we see and consider as fiction is actually inspired by reality. I mean, the Bible is very, very clear about that.
True.
And I believe that this time that we're moving into, we've kind of lived in a bubble, because we live in a materialist age, which is quite strange. If you look at human history, we are a group of people that have believed this nonsense about the material world is all that there is, whereas ancient people knew full well that there was another world, and its influence on the world that we see. And the Bible talks about the seen coming from the unseen, and as strange as it sounds, I mean, we're talking about zombie attacks. I know Steve Quell was talking about it years ago, but now actually we're really seeing zombie attacks. That's crazy.
Now, are you seeing any of that kind of behavior in the UK? To the extent,
no.
Okay.
To my understanding, no zombie attacks yet, thankfully. But there is, of course, kind of there is, UFO activity, definitely. I mean, I live not far away from a military base, and I mean, there's things you see in the sky, and other reports up and down, and practices, but the UK definitely pioneers in in paganism and secret societies, and all sorts of evil, and I just what is hidden, I think, will slowly begin to become
the veil is being lifted. The veil is being lifted, and you're very astute to point that out.
And caller, I got a question for you. This comes from the chat room, but going along the lines of something I was going to ask you. They want to know about how this gun situation, personal gun ownership situation, is where you live.
It's different here, because we don't have the kind of frontier kind of history. So we, on a whole, don't have guns. Some do. Some people do have guns. But you get more farmers or more specialists. There'd be more rifles. There wouldn't be handguns or automatic or semi-automatic weapons. That's just
okay. Now, as a
criminal.
Sorry, you cut out there for a minute. I thought you stopped talking.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know what you do for a living, but if you wanted to go get a gun, if you don't already have one, would you be able to by law?
It would be very difficult. Very, very, very difficult.
Okay.
Wow.
To get a gun. Very difficult.
And that's what they're trying to do here.
Really. Well, I think with you guys, it's going to be, I mean, taking guns away from American patriots is like, changing the American flag, taking the Stars and Stripes away. It's just not going to end well. No matter what event you create.
That's true.
There's going to be, I think it's so ingrained in your identity that there isn't a chance of that passing without a fight. And I think that fight will kick off when people realize that the freedom is gone, that the country is gone. I mean, I don't want to be, Mr. Doomsday, but if I'm honest, the America that I understand and I have seen, I don't believe exists anymore.
I'm glad you said that.
A few times.
Now, I'm sorry, we've got some technical issues here. I don't mean to talk over you. Caller, what do you see happening with the elections of the American elections of 2012? What are people in London talking about when they talk about 2012 elections? Are they talking about a landslide for Romney? Are they talking about Obama getting back in, or are they just not talking? What are they saying?
We're very, very conditioned over here, and just fed by mainstream media. You know, we see Mitt Romney's wife talking, and then today we saw Obama's Michelle. You know, I mean, I look at it and I'll see she's reading. That's scripted. You know, it's so fake. I'm sorry, I just believe it's completely fake. But I think the general population here aren't even really. I mean, it comes up in the news every now and then, but it's not really something that's playing a big part in the kind of consciousness at the moment. Obviously, the Olympics is still kind of going on with the Paralympics. Everyone's still kind of focusing on that.
Wow.
But yeah, it's not something that's kind of in the consciousness that much. I think it's only when it comes closer to it that it will become more of an issue, and I think there will be a lot of civil unrest. I mean, there's so many variables, there's so many things that could happen that I don't know how it's going to happen. But
wow,
I mean, whoever gets, I think it's just going to be. It's the same. It's the same guy. I think what they've done is, 4 years ago, you pick a president that appeals to the left and to the black community. Now, I think they've picked a president that appeals to the right and to the white community. It's just it's flip of the coin. It's the same. The same thing.
That's right.
No, it's the same thing.
Well, anything, caller, and thank you for staying up so late or getting up so early. That said, any closing comments? Anything you'd like to say?
I'm really looking forward to Steve Quayle coming on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Huge fan of the guy. I think he's an amazing guy. I think when he's on, he just goes for it. I think that's brilliant. I think he made a statement a little while ago about Watchmen and them coming together and stuff like that. And there's a few people that I've read and kind of have seen online. I would just like to kind of mention a couple of them if anyone's interested in, kind of viewing their website, viewing their material. That's one thing I'd like to say before I go. If that's okay.
Go ahead. Sure. Fire away.
There's a guy called Russ Dizdar. You've probably heard of Russ before.
Russ
I don't know if
Dizdar.
you've ever had him on. Yeah, Russ Dizdar.
Right.
Steve Quayle knows about him, so you can ask him about him. And he's written a book called The Black Awakening.
Yes.
And it's a very, I'm sure you've probably heard of it. It's a very powerful book about MK Ultra and satanic super soldiers. I mean, it sounds like a crazy title, doesn't it? Satanic super soldiers. But it sounds like something that's out of science fiction, but really it's not. And that's one of the things that I was talking about, how the things that we think are fiction are actually coming into reality in a startling way. But yeah, that's a great book, and I think every believer should have that book and understand what will occur in the coming future, as the years go on. There is also a book called by Jim Wilhelmsen, I think that's how you pronounce it, called Beyond Science Fiction. A great book. Again, he kind of goes to the Bible and basically has an understanding of today's technology and applies it to what the Bible is saying in prophecy. Because I think a lot of things are being revealed now. And finally, there's a guy called Dr. Scott Johnson. He has a website called Contending for Truth. And he does something very similar to you guys, in a sense, but he does it weekly. And he kind of goes through a lot of news articles that would really be relevant, primarily to an American audience, but I think to Christians everywhere. And the one message that I would say, the final thing before I go, is people ask, what do I do? Because sometimes you hear all this stuff and it sounds so dark, and you get kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? And I think, of course, there's preparation. I think that's very important. With if you can buy silver, or if you can get food, all those sorts of things. If the Lord's saying to go somewhere, go to that place. But I think for everyone is prayer. I think that is absolutely, we undervalue its power. And it's the one offensive weapon that we have, really. I mean, there's physical things you can do, but with what's coming, the only offense and only line of defense is our prayer. So when we hear about these things, we can pray about it. We can be salt, because the Bible says that we're salt. And when he says we're salt, he means, salt it doesn't stop decay, it slows it down. And I think we can push back prayer. I think that's very important as well.
Well, look, we appreciate your call, and certainly we thank you for listening. And any time, you please feel free to call back again. And
yes, please call back. We have several more questions we'd love to ask you.
Yeah, indeed. But
thank you very much. I will.
God bless you, sir, and
stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe, and have some fish and chips on me.
I will do, definitely. Thank you. God bless you.
And I got to say, we've been getting a lot of calls from, the UK, or I should say a lot for us, some from France, Wales, a couple other places. And we are somehow spreading internationally, and I love it. I love the UK callers. Yeah. If you guys are listening in the UK, even if you hear this on the archives, whenever you have a chance to call in live, please do so. We'll take your calls. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, indeed. And
anywhere else in the nation, for that matter, on top of that. Let's go to another call. We are going to go to area code 660. 630. You're on the line with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. Area code 630. You're on the air with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. And we are going to put you back on hold, and we will come back to you.
Now, folks, look, we understand. Somebody had written to me and said, sometimes you give callers too much time. This is a caller-driven show, a listener-driven show, and I understand that we do give people a little bit more liberty, especially if they call from overseas. But I think that was a great call, by the way. I really do.
I mean, the great calls, the good calls, great and good both together, definitely outweigh. I mean, we don't hardly get any bad calls.
No, and we're still trying to find our footing on that. But now that having said that,
I'm not sure which call I answered. Did we do this?
Well, I don't know. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to take the callers in the order in which they were received. The 631. You're on with Doug and Joe Hagmann.
Hello, Doug. Hello, Joe.
Hey.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, Doug.
Dave.
I don't know if you received that email I gave you. I'm sorry, it was a long one.
Wait a minute. When did you send it? Because
the same day. Same day. But you look. I don't even want to talk about it. If you got it, you got it. You got my number. If you want to contact me, you got this number.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
All right. I just wanted to say, after you said that thing about the island, boy, I'm choking over here.
That's right down. Well,
we reported on this a while ago that they were moving this to Kansas, to Kansas State University, I think, right in Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
Well,
have you seen anything over there? I mean, seriously, because I've been on Long Island. I've been out in the.
We've been to
Hampton.
Yeah, Hamptons, Riverside. We've been all over.
Couldn't afford.
I don't know too much about it. I know what goes on there. I didn't know all the things like you mentioned. I do know that people on the North Fork that are close by there, they live pretty long. They live into their 90s. I hear because there's a news station that you can go on and listen to, different things. They give the death of the people when they're going to be buried and everything, and you hear their age, and it's more. They live longer actually on the North Fork.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Than where I am around here.
Well,
going closer toward the city.
That North Fork area would look, the cost of living there. I couldn't even afford the.
It's like wine country and everything.
Yeah,
wine country.
It's yeah. So
when I listened to a thing on when I first came on, and I love the people out there. Thank you for all. I feel a lot better. I think I had something maybe from that place, but I took some of that silver stuff and. It wasn't doing. I did some research, and I'm going to get some from Steve Quayle because I found out his is like really good. But I just took some of that from this health food store, but I don't think it's really that great, But I know Jason is out there, and I saw his little thing, and I got something for you, Jason. Look, I saw your post, and I'm reading like Obama. I saw your post in the chat room about asking for prayers for you about drinking. I also will keep you in my prayers. But Jason, it's you, and it's your faith in Jesus that will be the main reason for you stopping your drinking. Remember what Jesus said, Jason. The path to heaven is narrow. It's a very hard path to walk, Jason, for all of us, not just you. Time is close, very close, Jason. You don't want to mess up and miss heaven. All right? You don't want to be down in the pit of fire with Obama and his likes. All right?
Yeah.
Remember in the Bible, it says, no, not drunkenness, nor adulterers, fornicators, and other things will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. When you feel that urge to drink, do push-ups, do chin-ups, do pull-ups. Get strong physically. You're going to need it, and you're going to need spirituality. The devil wants you to drink and lose your salvation. He's tempting you. Don't let him. Tell him to shove it, Jason. Get a 70-pound, 100-pound heavy bag and punch the crap out of it. Punch the crap out of the devil. You'll feel better. Believe me, Jason. Go for it. And what that other gentleman said about prayer, remember this, Jason. You cannot connect with Jesus in prayer when you're under the influence. You cannot.
That's a
Not
good
like
point.
You can when you can't. You can't.
And I want to tell you this from things I've seen. I've seen so many of my friends, people I know, acquaintances from high school and over the last 10 years after I've been out of high school that have passed away in direct result from drinking, drugs, using these substances. And I know how difficult it can be to quit smoking, to quit drinking, to quit any vice, whether it's TV or porn or whatever. But the devil will use that against you 100 times stronger than anybody else if he knows that's your only weakness. And Jason, I just pray that that God helps you with your temptation and he brings his power over you to help you overcome this. And please call me or email me if you ever need to talk, ever want to talk. I will always be willing to talk to you if you are in times of need or trouble or for any reason, because what the caller is saying, Dave is saying, is right on the money. We need to be under God, and the only way we can do that is to be sober, to be vigilant, be patient, and not giving into temptation, living by his word. And God bless you for trying, Jason. And I hope, I hope this gets resolved soon.
Right.
But caller,
Can I say?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I say a few other things?
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I say a few? I hate over talking you guys, but I know some people like me in there. I don't know if they like me. I know that other gentleman got down on me because it says something about Catholicism, but I just have to say right here. I mean, we have a great New York Catholic cardinal, and he stood up to Obama, and a lot of the evangelicals are behind this Catholic cardinal against Obama. I know maybe I said it too many times, but I don't think it really agitates the chat room or people out there.
No.
I know what happens in the Catholic Church. I know all about the homos that came in. I know exactly what's going on.
Is that not the smoke of Satan, or is that not the infusion of Satan into the
smoke of Satan? You got it, Doug. Okay. And that's why Pope Pius XIII fell in an ecstasy when he was coming off his private altar. And he fell in an ecstasy, and he heard from the tabernacle. He heard voices, and it was Jesus and the devil. Right. And the devil said, "I can have you." You know about that, Doug?
Yeah,
I can have your church, take your church in like 100 years. And so Jesus said, "But I need more power." And Jesus said, "So be it." When the Pope regained consciousness or got out of the ecstasy, he went to his room and he made up the St. Michael prayer. St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our safeguard against the wickedness and snares of the devil.
Right.
May God rebuke him. We humbly pray him. Do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast in hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who prowl throughout the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. That was supposedly said. He said that this would be said after every low mass. Well, after whatever, when the new Vatican came in, they stopped that prayer. And that's when the smoke of Satan came in. That's what I believe, and a lot of other people believe.
I believe that
Satan
too.
Entered. Yeah.
Look, I went to a seminary for 4 years. People don't know that.
But I heard you say that.
Look, I can tell you all about church history, but the Bible, this was after Vatican II, of course. So I'm well versed in church history, but biblically bankrupt, if that's a correct phrase, because they didn't teach the Bible as they should have in the seminary. It was crazy. So
can I get a little list here for those people out there, the Jewish people out there, and everybody else that thinks that, like that other guy that came on after me, August 21st, said Obama is just like Bush. Well, let me just go through this little thing, and I'll do it real quick. Who was it that went to Cairo, Egypt, and apologized in front of Muslims and the Muslim Brotherhood for America's arrogance? Who was it that sent back the Bush, that the bust of Winston Churchill being in the White House, at least from Kennedy to our allies, England? Who took the missile defense system out of Poland? Who went to the Evil Doer Rights Church for 20 years? Who was friends with cop killer Bill Ayers? Who had on his Christmas tree in the White House an ornamental ball with a small picture of Mao Zedong? Who said the most beautiful sound to my ears is the Muslim call to prayer? Who said that he didn't like these words in the Star-Spangled Banner, the bombs bursting in air? Who did not hand over all his records, his passports, his school records, and of course his a real birth certificate? Who came out right away when the Ground Zero mosque crap happened and said, I think it should be built? Who appointed Homeland Security Secretary Dyka Napolitano, who was probably, after all, the Christians or straight people in that agency? Who has directed our military to wear a glove on their right hand when turning the pages very carefully of the Holy Quran, if it must be touched, and with reverence? Who, after almost 3 years in prison for shooting our troops at Fort Hood, has not called for this Muslim scum Major Hassan to not have been convicted yet of mass Islamic terrorism? Right. Who has taken out of every reference of Islamic terrorism in government or military speech? Who said the Massachusetts police acted stupidly in that case, where the police sergeant responded to a burglary in progress and questioned a black friend of Obama? Who destroyed NASA? Who said that if an abortion is botched up and the baby is accidentally born, have the nurse put the baby in the closet, close the door, and let it die without food and water? Who didn't let Billy Graham's son come to the White House for that day of prayer because he just said that they were Muslims or Islamics that took down the Twin Towers? Who bowed down to a sordid king? Who invited many, many Muslims to the White House and even get down on the prayer rug with them? Who didn't let us see the bullet hole in bin Laden's head? Whose watch was it on that 22 Navy SEALs, the best, were killed by going in one freaking fat Chinook helicopter?
There's still something wrong with that story, by the way.
I like your passion, caller.
I do. We do. Look, you got to take you got to take these things one day at a time, one issue at a time. But I'll tell you what, you're 100% right.
I'm asking again for prayer to send a shaking to that demon. I had it down here somewhere in all these pages. Demonic convention. Demonic convention.
Demonic National Convention. Yeah. Look, it's bad when you've got to vote. It's a shame. It's wow.
Caller, we got a couple calls we got to take before the end of the show.
God bless everybody.
Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
No. Thank you. God bless everybody. God bless you all. Don't vote for Obama. Don't vote for him.
Yeah.
Good talking to you.
God bless you, and thanks for the call so much. We love hearing from you. We're moving on to next call is Vernon.
Yes, we are.
Vernon, you are on the line with the Hagmann and Hagmann.
Hang on, Vernon. I think did I cancel you? I canceled you out. I look.
Oh, you can't do that to me, Doug.
No, he just messed up the switchboard. It's all right. I got it under control.
Yeah.
You got it, Jeff?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
He's got my back.
It always takes the young folks to get the electronics right.
Thanks, Vernon.
Oh, man. Listen, gentlemen, you got so much powerful information, so many powerful calls that I was sitting here listening to. It's what they call information overload. I just hope my pea brain can catch up.
Yeah, started.
Vernon, honestly, we covered about 1/10 of the news we planned on covering today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can. I'm gonna try my best to keep up with everyone else. Okay. First of all, I'd like to say this. I'm glad that you're going to do a show on 9/11 because there's too much unresolved issues, too many questions that has to be answered, too many inconsistencies throughout that whole saga. Okay, and when I look at Al-Qaeda, who got blamed for 9/11, how is it that we're going to give them $65 million to go into Libya? How is it that we're going to support them going into Syria? I don't get that.
No,
okay?
we trained them. We helped fund other countries to train them. We created them.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. You know, and I just don't get the philosophy behind that. Same thing with the Muslim Brotherhood. I was saying it was 500 million, but I understand now from what you're saying is 1.5 billion and even plus.
That's correct.
Know? And, you know, my mind is sitting here like, huh? You know, how is it we're going to give our enemy of yesterday $1.5 billion?
Vernon, plus military aid.
Okay. Yeah. But my bottom line question is, Doug, is this. Who's going to bail out the American people? Okay? Now, vote for me as President of the United States. I'm going to bail out everybody today. Let me tell you how I'm going to do it. Okay? First of all, the Federal Reserve Act, okay? American business that ran to China, Taiwan, wherever. You want to do business on American soil, you have to be on American soil.
Indeed.
Number two. Now, you want tax breaks? You can get your tax breaks, but here's what you're going to do. You're going to put it into the kitty every year. Now, there's only 312 million people. The last time I checked, within a few months ago, there's only 312 million people in the United States. Half of that has got to be kids.
That's about right, yes.
All right, and how many trillions of dollars are we in debt? Oh, I'm sorry. How many trillions of dollars are the banks in debt that the American people are going to pay for? That'd be the correct way to say it.
$50,000 for every man, woman, and child in America.
Yep.
Let's do this. Let's take 312 million. Give every man, woman, and child $1 million straight across the board. Okay. Now,
that'd be $1.
Huh?
No, 312 million. If you, okay, give 300. So you'd give them 31.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, 312 million times. How much you say you give them? $1 million?
Yeah.
So 312 million times $1 million. It would be 312 trillion.
All right. Now, wait a minute. The companies that are making the money is paying the kitty. They're paying the bill.
Okay.
They got the tax breaks, but this is the money that you're going to put together and give it to the American people. All right?
Okay.
But out of that money, let's say I got $1 million, I would have to, one, either buy a house and or rehab my house. I would have to, two, buy an American car. I would have to, three, have health insurance, okay, and so forth and so on. All right? Your housing industry is out of trouble. Your car industry is out of trouble. Your economy is back on track. Oh, I'm sorry. Welfare, gone.
Right. Okay. But that would leave, well, of course, if you give them, okay. All right. I got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're constantly paying trillions of dollars and bailing out the banks, bailing out everyone else around the world except for the American people.
Well, and that's what we do. And it's you're right, Vernon. I mean, look, the bankers own this country. And bankers, they have a cabal. It's a conspiracy. It's a consortium of families.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We've got, and they own these politicians.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line, okay? The reason why you'll never see anything like that happen is because Everything that you see orchestrated. 9/11 was orchestrated, okay, to bring the American people to their knees.
Okay.
To get us to the point where they have us right now, okay? The American people, I talk to people in the street, and I was talking to a young lady, and I was trying to explain to her what is going on. And they have made Obama this God image. Like right now, they got this, the Pastor Paul was talking about how they got this image they're going to bring in tomorrow, along with this background tomorrow, and they're making a God out of him tomorrow. The only problem with that is, and it's not a problem for me, but you know what? You want to make a God out of this man? Okay, well, guess what? The God I know, the God that says there will be no other gods before me, will remove your Idiomoka God. Okay? He will be removed. So I'm not worried about that. Okay? But what I am worried about is, the mentality of 200 families out the entire world who has control of the entire world of 7 billion people on the face of this earth. Only 200 families have control to the point where they don't care if you know that we're going to eliminate 2/3 of you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Be it GMOs, the food, the water, the whatever kind of drink you like. I just found out, I love coffee. I just found out GMO is in coffee.
Really?
Yes.
Is it in all coffee, certain brands, or?
From what I understand, because one of my cousins, that's what she's into. She's into food and health foods and stuff like this, and she has discovered that it's in coffee. Now, she just put it in coffee, blanket.
And Vernon,
you
just
brought disturbing.
You just reminded me of an article I saw, a hit piece on organic food. They have come out and tried to say that organic food is not as healthy as they say, not even as healthy as normal food, which is a lie of the biggest proportions. If you look at what the globalists and the world power elite eat, they eat nothing but organic food and milk. I mean, it's crazy.
But you could talk. I'm gonna put you in contact with my cousin because she could, educate you more on that level. But some of the things that she be telling me is like everything fits. All right. Here it is. You have one small group out of the entire world population, and their whole agenda is total dominance. We have Bill Gates that get up and tell you point blank, there's 7 billion people on the earth, and we have to thin the herd. Okay, how are we going to do that? Inoculation. Okay, Planned Parenthood. Oh, let's not forget about the war that's brewing that they're orchestrating to put together. All right, everything straight across the board. The laws that's being changed in this land, they have the law, the Food Naturalization Act in this land. You can't grow your own healthy food. They're walking onto the FDA along with other law enforcement agencies are walking on to farms, killing livestock. Oh, because I don't like the color of that particular sheep over there, so we're going to kill him.
Yeah, and they I talked this week to somebody in the Pacific Northwest who had that happen to their family farm, where there was a representative of the Department of Agriculture, I believe it was, who killed two animals for I'm trying to remember what the cause was. You would think I would remember, given the nature of this, but it was some ridiculous cause, Vernon. So this is happening all over the country, isn't it?
Right. Yes, very much so. It started out in California, the first time I heard about it, and is up here in Pennsylvania in the Lancaster area. It's going on. And these are the things that's not told in mainstream media. All right. Now, I just want to tie it all up a little bit. Everything, guys, that you be talking about ties into one thing and one thing only. Okay? The Antichrist is rising. Now, on Pastor Paul's show, they was talking about, somebody was saying that, well, Obama's the Antichrist. And I hope that gentleman is in your forum today because I know he listens to your program as well.
Okay.
But for me, now, everything that God does, Satan duplicates. All right, what happened? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. His Son came into this world. Okay? But before Christ was announced, you had John the Baptist. And everybody thought that John the Baptist was the Messiah.
Right.
And John the Baptist said, no, there's one yet to come. Okay? And when Christ came for John to baptize him, and John announced him as he's the one that you have been awaiting. Okay? Now, if Satan follows his protocol, his format, okay, then Obama, for me, is the forerunner for the Antichrist. He's getting things set up. He's setting the stage. Because when the Antichrist come on the scene, everything is going to be in place. Another reason why I know Obama's not the Antichrist. The Antichrist is going to be received throughout the entire world, including Israel.
That's correct.
They're going to say, let him lead us. Right now, Israel don't trust Obama. They don't like Obama.
No.
That tells me that he's not the Antichrist.
But you know, okay, but you said something, Vernon. You said everything leads, to the Antichrist. Is that in reference to the attacks of 9/11? I mean, is that what you're referring to?
No, that's not what I was referring to, but that is a major part of it. Keep in mind, Doug, the United States is the only country that has the sovereignty that allegedly that we have. Okay? And
yeah.
The United States had to be torn down off of their so-called hiatus. Now, you made mention of Pearl Harbor, okay? And after Pearl Harbor, the United States had this mentality, nothing can happen to the United States on the United States soil until 9/11. Okay.
Yeah, two big oceans on either side. You got a friendly country to the north, and you got a squalor to the south, but okay. Yeah, felt pretty, safe.
That started to tear us down, okay?
Right.
The morale, most Americans wouldn't put their, Doug, I'm from the military. Okay? I've learned not to trust the government. You have brought up information. No, America, we don't do things like Jacob's Ladder. We don't put drugs in the troops' food and water so that we can build super soldiers. We don't put substance in the light bulbs and subway systems, giving people cancer. We don't test on people like that.
No.
Well, of course not, Vernon.
Hey, we got like 2 minutes left. Anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
The bottom line, folks, is this. You can take all the information as believers in the Lord Jesus Christ. Don't let it overbog your mind about what's going on. Yes, we're to know what's going on, but we're to be focused on the Lord Jesus Christ and his imminent return.
Very good.
Thank you, Vernon. God bless you, and we will talk to you later. And not only did you end right where I was going to pick up, I have scripture for what you just talked about. Fear, and some different quotes. One from Isaiah.
People.
Do not fear what they fear, and do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread.
No, wait a second.
They're
that
saying,
sounds, wow, that sounds like this guy's mean. God is mean.
Well, no. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And these are out of the NIV. I don't usually quote the NIV, but I didn't know I copied and pasted that until just now. Don't be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell.
Wow.
Which gives another dynamic to why you should, and it even says that, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love, and of sound mind.
90 seconds.
Fearfulness and timidity does not come from God.
See, and boy, this is a beautiful way to close, because fear does not come from God.
And when people say
that's important to understand,
we're trying to fearmonger or scare people, we are not.
No.
If you have your relationship right with the Lord Jesus Christ, perfect love casts out fear.
Right.
You will not have fear. And I know we're all working at different stages.
60 seconds.
But you know what, though? We all, look, although fear does not come from God, and although, we are not to spread fear, that doesn't mean we got to stick our heads in the sand and not understand what's going on, because the key to understanding is the key to understanding is how to prepare. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, spiritually, yes.
Spiritually,
yes,
practically,
yes.
Because some people are so heavenly minded that they're no earthly good. And look. You've got to be prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, and certainly practically.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of our show. Please do not forget tomorrow night, 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We will have Dr. Paul Hagstrom and
10 seconds.
3 hours. On post-traumatic stress disorder. This guy's a world-renowned doctor.
And the truth.
Do not miss the show. 9 p.m. Chat room will be open at 8. God bless you all. We love you. Have a great night.
Thanks for everything.